Lieutenant Hae-jin Kim stood at his office window in the Korean Space Force headquarters, looking at the busy Seoul spaceport. The morning sun reflected off the silver hulls of ships taking off for various Earth colonies. He sipped his coffee, enjoying the quiet moment before his day began. The quiet didn't last long. His computer screen lit up with an urgent message marked with the Galactic Council's symbol. Hae-jin set down his coffee and opened the message. As he read it, his eyes grew wider. "This has to be a mistake," he said to the empty room. The message was clear. The Galactic Military Academy wanted him as an instructor. Him, a human from Earth, a planet that most alien species called a death world. They thought Earth was too dangerous, with its high gravity, extreme weather, and aggressive life forms. Many aliens believed humans were too primitive to be part of their society. Hae-jin checked the message again. It was real, complete with the official seals and signatures of both the Academy Board and Earth's representative to the Galactic Council. A knock on his door interrupted his thoughts. "Come in," he called out. Dr. Yuri Park walked in, carrying her tablet. She was the department's best research assistant, known for her sharp mind and attention to detail. "Lieutenant Kim, I assume you received the message too. About the academy position." "Yes. I'm still trying to understand why they chose me." Yuri smiled. "Maybe because you wrote that paper on combining Earth's historical battle tactics with modern space warfare. It got a lot of attention, even if some aliens called it unnecessarily aggressive." Hae-jin walked to his desk and pulled up his service record. "But I'm just a regular officer. Surely they have better candidates." "Regular?" Yuri laughed. "You graduated top of your class, speak 3 Earth languages, and learned 2 alien languages in record time. Plus, you've already worked with alien species during joint exercises." The computer beeped again. This time, it was a video call from General Do-hyun. Hae-jin quickly straightened his uniform and accepted the call. "Lieutenant Kim," the general said, "I see you've received the assignment notice. This is not a request you can refuse. The Galactic Council specifically asked for you." "Sir, with respect, why would they want a human teacher? Most species think we're dangerous savages." The general leaned forward. "Exactly why this is important. Humanity needs to prove we belong in the galactic community. Your success or failure at the Academy could affect Earth's future relations with all alien species." Hae-jin felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. "When do I leave, sir?" 2 weeks. And you won't be going alone. Dr. Park will accompany you as your research assistant. We need her expertise in xenobiology and cultural studies." Yuri looked surprised but pleased. "Thank you, General. I'll start preparing right away." After the call ended, Hae-jin looked at the spaceport again. The ships now seemed to represent a bigger challenge than before. "Well," he said to Yuri, "I guess we should start packing. Have you ever wondered what it's like to live on a space station designed for species from low-gravity worlds?" "No, but I'm sure we'll find out soon enough," Yuri replied. "At least we'll have each other to complain to when everything feels too light and cold." Hae-jin nodded, already making mental lists of what he would need. Teaching at the academy would be the biggest challenge of his career. But maybe, just maybe, it was also a chance to show the galaxy that humans were more than just survivors from a dangerous world. They were ready to become teachers, leaders, and respected members of the galactic community. Whether the aliens were ready for that was another question entirely. The transport ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel, revealing the Galactic Military Academy space station. Hae-jin and Yuri stood at the observation window, taking in their first view of their new home. The station was massive, shaped like a giant wheel with spokes connecting to a central hub. Different sections rotated at various speeds, creating different gravity levels for the many alien species that lived and studied there. "It's bigger than I expected," Yuri said, adjusting her uniform collar. The ship's temperature was already set to alien standards, making it uncomfortably cold for the humans. A voice came over the ship's speakers in Standard Galactic. Approaching Dock 7. All passengers prepare for gravity adjustment. He-Jin felt his stomach shift as the ship's artificial gravity decreased to match the station's lower setting. Even after months of training for low-gravity environments, the feeling was still strange. The docking process took 20 minutes. When the airlock finally opened, they were met by 3 aliens. The tallest was a Meridian, with blue-tinted skin and 4 arms. The other 2 were Australians, looking almost like tall, thin humans except for their silver eyes and scaled skin. Lieutenant Kim, Dr. Park, the Meridian spoke in careful Standard Galactic. I am Administrative Director Val. These are your orientation guides. He gestured to the Australians but didn't introduce them by name. Thank you for the welcome, He-Jin replied, bowing slightly. He noticed how the aliens stepped back, probably worried about the dangerous Deathworlder making sudden moves. The group walked through wide corridors. The station's walls were a soft white color that seemed to glow. Every sign was written in multiple languages, including Earth Standard. Your living quarters are in Section 12, one of the Australian guides said. We had to make special adjustments for your species requirements. We appreciate the effort, Yuri replied politely, though He-Jin could hear the slight annoyance in her voice. They passed several other aliens in the hallways. Most moved to the other side when they saw the humans coming. A few stopped and stared openly, whispering to each other. Director Val led them to a large office with a view of Earth in the distance. Inside, a hologram of the enlightened species ambassador flickered to life. The ambassador was a Cerebian, a species that prided itself on pure logical thinking. So, the ambassador's hologram said, these are the Deathworlders who think they can teach our best and brightest. His tone made it clear he didn't approve. We're here to share knowledge and learn from each other, He-Jin said firmly. Earth may be different from other worlds, but that gives us unique perspectives to share. The ambassador's expression didn't change. Lieutenant Kim, your first class begins in 3 days. I suggest you use that time to study our teaching methods. We wouldn't want any unfortunate incidents due to human aggression. After the meeting, He-Jin and Yuri were shown to their quarters. The rooms were larger than expected, but noticeably warmer and with stronger artificial gravity than the rest of the station. Well, Yuri said once they were alone, that was about as friendly as a military inspection. He-Jin walked to the window, watching the stars. Did you notice? They're not just afraid of us. They're afraid of what we represent, a species that survived on a world they consider hell and still developed space travel. And now we're here to teach their children, Yuri added. She pulled out her tablet and started making notes. This is going to be more challenging than we thought. He-Jin nodded, his mind already planning his first lesson. He would show them that humans weren't just survivors of a harsh world. They were innovators, teachers, and maybe, someday, friends. He-Jin stood before his first class in the Academy's lecture hall. 30 alien students from 10 different species looked back at him with expressions ranging from curiosity to fear. The room was colder than he liked, but he had gotten used to wearing thermal underlayers beneath his uniform. Welcome to Advanced Combat Strategy, he began, his voice clear and steady. Today, we start with something your previous instructors might have overlooked, the importance of adaptation. He pulled up a hologram showing Earth's historical battles. Some students shifted uncomfortably in their seats when they saw human soldiers. Sir, a Meridian student raised one of his 4 hands. Aren't Earth tactics too primitive for modern space warfare? He-Jin smiled. Let's test that theory. Computer, run Battle Simulation Alpha 1. The classroom transformed into a space battlefield. Student seats automatically adjusted to give everyone a clear view of the holographic ships. This is a recreation of the Battle of Thermopylae, He-Jin explained, but with modern ships instead of ancient soldiers. Watch how the same principles still apply. The students watched in amazement as He Jin demonstrated how ancient Earth battle tactics could be used with advanced technology. Even the most skeptical students began taking notes. Meanwhile, in the Academy's database center, Yuri was making interesting discoveries. She found that the official records severely underestimated human capabilities. According to the database, humans shouldn't even be able to function properly in space. "This is completely wrong," she muttered, making corrections to the data. "No wonder they think we're primitive." Back in the classroom, He Jin was answering questions when Administrator Val entered with two other instructors. They stood at the back, watching with disapproving expressions. "Now," He Jin continued, ignoring them, "let's look at how weather affected Earth battles and how similar principles apply to solar storms and asteroid fields." A small Australian student spoke up. "But Instructor Kim, wouldn't any sensible commander avoid such dangerous conditions?" "Sometimes you don't have a choice," He Jin replied. "On Earth, we learn to use dangerous conditions to our advantage." Computer, show hurricane battle simulation. The hologram changed to show ships navigating through a violent solar storm. The students watched intently as He Jin explained how to use natural phenomena for tactical advantage. After class, several students stayed to ask questions. For the first time since arriving at the station, He Jin felt he was making progress. Administrator Val approached him once the students left. "Interesting methods, Lieutenant Kim. However, teaching Deathworld tactics might encourage unnecessary risk-taking." "With respect, Administrator, understanding how to fight in extreme conditions helps prevent casualties. Ignoring these tactics doesn't make space any safer." That evening, He Jin and Yuri met in their shared office to discuss the day's events. "The database is full of misconceptions about humans," Yuri said, showing him her findings. "They think we're barely more advanced than primitive hunters." He Jin looked at her data. "Maybe that's why they're so surprised by our teaching methods. We're not just fighting their prejudice, we're fighting centuries of wrong information." "Should we correct it?" Yuri asked. "Not yet," He Jin replied, thinking carefully. "Let's show them the truth through actions first. Sometimes seeing is better than telling." As they worked late into the station's artificial night, neither noticed the security camera focusing on their office, nor the fact that someone was very interested in how these humans were changing the Academy's long-held beliefs. He Jin was in the middle of teaching his third week of classes when the station's gravity suddenly increased. Students floated from their seats as the artificial gravity systems fluctuated wildly. Warning alarms blared through the station. "Everyone stay calm," He Jin commanded. His earthborn muscles, used to higher gravity, allowed him to move steadily while others struggled. "Keep close to your desks and hold on." The station's computer announced in multiple languages. "Warning: gravity control system malfunction. All non-essential personnel return to quarters immediately." He Jin tapped his communication device. "Yuri, are you okay?" "I'm fine," she responded. "But the main control center is in chaos. The alien engineers can't reach the backup systems because of the gravity shifts." "Where's the control center?" "Section 8, Level 3. "But He Jin, it's dangerous. The gravity there is switching between 0 and 3 times Earth normal." He Jin looked at his students, now safely secured to their seats with emergency harnesses. "Station security will come for you soon. Stay here." He left the classroom and moved through the corridors. Years of training in variable gravity environments had prepared him for this. Where other species saw the high gravity as a barrier, he saw it as normal. Halfway to the control center, he found Yuri waiting for him. She wore her emergency suit and carried another one for him. "The alien engineers are stuck," she explained as He Jin put on the suit. "Their bodies can't handle these gravity changes, but we can." They moved together through the shifting gravity fields. When gravity increased, they pushed forward using their natural earthborn strength. When it disappeared, they used their low-gravity training to navigate precisely. They found several alien crew members trapped in a corridor. The Meridian engineer in charge stared at them with all four eyes wide. "How are you moving in these conditions?" he asked. "Earth gravity is higher than this," Yuri explained as she helped secure the aliens to safety handles. "We're used to it." He-Jin checked his tablet. "The backup control room is just ahead. The main gravity generators are overloading." They reached the control room to find it abandoned. Screens showed dangerous power surges in the gravity system. He-Jin moved to the main console while Yuri checked the system diagnostics. "The safety protocols are failing," Yuri said. "We need to reset the entire system." "That would mean zero gravity throughout the station for 10 minutes, He-Jin replied. "Better than having the system explode." He-Jin nodded and accessed the emergency controls. His fingers moved quickly over the alien interface as he initiated the reset sequence. The station shuddered as the gravity systems shut down. Over the next 10 minutes, He-Jin and Yuri worked together to restore the gravity generators one section at a time. Their experience with both Earth gravity and space operations proved invaluable. When it was over, they found Administrator Val and several other alien officials waiting outside the control room. "You saved the station," Val said, his voice carrying a new tone of respect. "But how did you manage to reach the controls when our own engineers could not?" "On Earth, we learned to adapt to harsh conditions from childhood," He-Jin explained. "What you see as extreme, we see as a challenge to overcome." Yuri added, "Maybe now you understand why studying Deathworld adaptations could benefit everyone." As they walked back to check on the students, He-Jin noticed the alien crew members looking at them differently. Fear had been replaced by something new, curiosity, and perhaps a bit of admiration. The crisis had shown them something important. Sometimes the very traits that made humans dangerous could also make them invaluable allies. A week after the gravity crisis, He-Jin noticed something strange in his teaching records. Some of his lesson plans had been accessed during odd hours. He checked the access logs and found an unfamiliar name, Director Jai-Ho Lee. "Have you ever heard of Director Lee?" He-Jin asked Yuri during their morning meeting. She shook her head. "No, but I found something interesting. Look at this." She showed him her tablet. "Someone has been collecting data about how different species react to humans. The files go back 5 years. He-Jin was about to respond when his computer screen lit up with a message. "Meet me in Observation Deck C at 2100 hours. Come alone. Director Lee." That evening, He-Jin went to the observation deck. The large windows showed the endless expanse of space. A man stood there, watching the stars. He turned as He-Jin approached. "Lieutenant Kim," the man said in Korean. "I'm Director Lee. I've been waiting a long time to meet you." "You're human," He-Jin said, surprised. "How long have you been here?" 7 years. Director Lee smiled. "I was the first human placed in the academy. Officially, I manage student records. Unofficially, I study how aliens view humans." "Why?" "Because Earth needed to know if we could ever be truly accepted in the galactic community." Lee walked to a nearby table and activated a holographic display. "Every species here thinks they know humans. They call us Deathworlders, primitives, dangerous, but they never try to understand us." The hologram showed years of collected data, student reactions, teacher comments, official reports about human behavior. "Your assignment here wasn't random," Lee continued. "We needed someone who could challenge their prejudices. Someone who could show them that humans are more than just strong muscles and survival instincts." He-Jin looked at the data. "Does the Academy know about this study?" "No, only a few people on Earth know. The gravity crisis wasn't planned, but it proved something important. It showed that our Deathworld traits make us valuable allies." "And what about Yuri? Was she part of your plan too?" Lee nodded. "We needed someone to document everything scientifically. Her research will help change how the galaxy sees humans." He-Jin sat down, processing this information. "So my teaching position is real," Lee assured him. But it's also an experiment. Can a human teacher succeed in the galaxy's most prestigious academy? Can we prove that Earth's harsh conditions created not just strong bodies, but capable minds? What happens now? Keep teaching. Keep showing them what humans can do. But be careful. Some people don't want things to change. They're comfortable with their prejudices. As He-Jin left the observation deck, his mind was full of questions. His simple teaching assignment had become part of something much bigger. Earth's future in the galactic community might depend on how well he could prove that humans belonged among the stars. He found Yuri waiting in their office. "You look troubled," she said. "We need to talk," He-Jin replied. "Our assignment just got more complicated." The stars outside their windows seemed to shine brighter now, like they knew a secret. The real test was just beginning. The Academy's main hall was crowded when combat instructor Ren, a tall Australian known for his traditional views, stood up during the morning assembly. "I challenge Lieutenant He-Jin Kim to the traditional combat trials," Ren announced, his voice echoing through the hall. Everyone fell silent. The combat trials were an ancient Academy tradition. They tested not just fighting skills, but also strategy and adaptability. No human had ever participated in them. He-Jin stood from his seat. "I accept your challenge," he said calmly, though his heart was racing. Administrator Val stepped forward. "The trials will take place in 7 days. Both participants must complete 3 challenges: mental combat, physical combat, and strategic combat." After the assembly, Yuri found He-Jin in their office. "This is dangerous," she said. "The trials were designed for alien biology. Some of the challenges might be impossible for humans." "That's exactly why Ren challenged me," He-Jin replied. "He thinks he can prove humans don't belong here." Director Lee entered the office, closing the door behind him. "This is more than just a challenge," he said. "It's a test of everything we've been working for. If you succeed, it could change how the entire galaxy sees humans." They spent the next week preparing. Yuri studied recordings of previous trials, looking for patterns and weaknesses. He-Jin trained in the gym, adapting his Earth combat techniques to work in lower gravity. "The first trial will be mental combat," Yuri explained, showing He-Jin her research. "They'll connect your mind to a simulation. Most alien species see things differently than humans. You'll need to adapt quickly." "The second trial is physical combat," Lee added. "They'll expect you to fail because of our primitive Earth muscles. They don't understand that Earth's gravity makes us stronger than we look." He-Jin nodded. "And the strategic combat? That's the final test," Yuri said. "You'll command virtual ships in a space battle. But here's the interesting part. No one has ever won using traditional Academy tactics." The day before the trials, He-Jin sat in the observation deck, watching Earth in the distance. Yuri joined him, carrying 2 cups of coffee, a rare luxury on the station. "Are you ready?" she asked. "I've been thinking about something," He-Jin said. "Every species here evolved to survive on their own worlds. We evolved on Earth, the planet they call a death world. But they never asked why humans survived there." "What do you mean?" "We didn't just survive through strength. We survived through intelligence, creativity, and adaptability. Tomorrow, I'm not going to try to fight like them. I'm going to fight like a human." Yuri smiled. "Show them what a Deathworlder can really do." That night, as He-Jin prepared his equipment, news of the challenge spread through the station. Students gathered in groups, discussing whether a human could possibly succeed in the trials. Some made bets against him, but others, especially his students, believed he might surprise everyone. In his private quarters, Instructor Ren reviewed his own strategy. He had studied human weaknesses carefully. Tomorrow, he would prove that the Academy had made a mistake accepting a Deathworlder as an instructor. Neither of them knew that this challenge would change the Academy forever. The day of the trials arrived. The Academy's main arena was filled with spectators from every species. He-Jin stood ready for his first challenge as Yuri made final adjustments to his neural interface. "Remember," she whispered, "your human brain processes information differently. Use that to your advantage." The mental combat trial began. He-Jin's mind entered the virtual space, where abstract shapes and alien concepts floated around him. Most aliens saw these patterns as natural, but to his human mind, they seemed strange and chaotic. Instead of fighting this difference, He-Jin embraced it. He used his human ability to find patterns in chaos, connecting ideas in ways the aliens had never considered. The audience watched in amazement as he completed the mental challenges faster than any competitor in Academy history. "Impossible," Instructor Ren muttered as the first trial ended. He must have cheated. But there was no time to argue. The physical combat trial began immediately. He-Jin faced 3 different alien combat robots, each designed to test different physical abilities. The first robot was built for speed. It moved incredibly fast in the low gravity, but He-Jin used his Earth-trained reflexes to predict its movements. The second robot tested strength, trying to push him out of a marked circle. He-Jin's muscles, developed under Earth's higher gravity, proved stronger than expected. The final robot combined both challenges. As He-Jin fought, he remembered childhood games on Earth. Running, jumping, adapting to different situations. He moved in ways the robot's programmers had never anticipated, using the low gravity to his advantage. "He's not fighting like any species we've seen," Administrator Val observed. "He's creating his own style." The final trial, strategic combat, drew the largest crowd. He-Jin sat at the command console, facing a simulation of a space battle. Instructor Ren controlled the opposing forces. Ren started with traditional academy tactics, perfectly executed, but He-Jin responded with strategies from Earth's history. He used weather tactics from naval battles to navigate asteroid fields. He applied ancient cavalry flanking maneuvers to his spaceship squadrons. "What is he doing?" other instructors whispered. "Those are primitive Earth tactics." But they worked. He-Jin's unconventional approach confused Ren's forces. The alien instructor had trained to counter standard academy strategies, not Earth's historical warfare techniques adapted for space. In the final moments, He-Jin used a strategy inspired by an ancient Earth battle, splitting his forces to trap Ren's fleet between an asteroid field and his ships. Victory was clear and decisive. The arena fell silent. Then Yuri began to clap, followed by He-Jin's students, then more and more of the audience. Even some of the instructors joined in. Administrator Val stepped forward to announce the results. "Lieutenant He-Jin Kim has completed all 3 trials successfully. This is unprecedented for a first-time participant, let alone a representative from Earth." He-Jin stood tired but proud. He had proven that humans were more than just strong. They were adaptable, creative, and capable of excellence in ways the galaxy had never expected. Instructor Ren approached him, standing tall. "I was wrong about you," he said formally. "Your methods are different, but they are effective. Perhaps we all have something to learn from Earth's techniques." Director Lee watched from the back of the arena, smiling. The experiment had worked better than anyone had hoped. The galaxy would have to reconsider its views on humans and their capabilities. 3 months after the combat trials, the Galactic Military Academy looked very different. In his new office, larger and warmer than the previous one, He-Jin reviewed the changes on his computer screen. The Academy Board had created a new department, Advanced Adaptive Combat Studies. Director Lee would lead it, with He-Jin as the chief combat instructor. More importantly, they had approved Yuri's research for distribution across the galaxy. "Your morning meeting is ready," his computer announced. He-Jin entered the conference room, where Yuri was presenting her findings to the Galactic Council representatives. The room was full of high-ranking officials from various species. "Our research proves that evolution on a Deathworld created unexpected advantages," Yuri explained, showing detailed charts. Humans don't just have physical strength. We have highly adaptable minds and problem-solving abilities. The enlightened species ambassador, who had once doubted them, now listened with interest. Your data suggests we should reconsider our entire species classification system, he said. Exactly, Director Lee added. We've been measuring species by our own standards, but each world creates unique strengths in its people. Earth's challenges made humans uniquely suited for space exploration and adaptation. After the meeting, He-Jin walked to his classroom. The number of students had doubled since his victory in the trials. Even more surprising, several alien instructors now attended his classes to learn Earth's combat techniques. Today, he announced to his class, we have a special guest. Instructor Ren will demonstrate how traditional academy tactics can work together with Earth strategies. Ren, now one of He-Jin's strongest supporters, stepped forward. The same instructor who had challenged him now helped teach a combined fighting style that took the best from both approaches. Later that day, He-Jin received a message from Earth's Space Force Command. They were sending more human instructors to other galactic institutions. His success had opened doors for humanity throughout the galaxy. In the station's observation deck, He-Jin, Yuri, and Director Lee watched ships arrive from Earth carrying the new instructors. They're calling it the Kim Protocol, Lee said with a smile. Every galactic institution must now include training in adaptive thinking and survival strategies. Yuri showed them her latest research results. The Academy's performance scores have improved by 30% since we introduced Earth tactics. Even species from gentle worlds are learning to adapt better to different situations. He-Jin watched an Earth ship dock at the station. We never wanted to prove humans were better, he said. We just wanted to show that being different isn't always a weakness. And now? Yuri asked. Now we build something new together. Earth techniques combined with alien technology. Deathworld survival skills helping people from all worlds. The galaxy is changing, and we're helping change it. As they talked, students from 20 different species practiced Earth combat moves in the training room below. In another room, human students learned elegant alien battle formations. The barriers between species were breaking down, replaced by mutual respect and understanding. The Galactic Council had officially changed Earth's classification from Dangerous Death World to Advanced Adaptation World. It wasn't just a new name. It was a new way of seeing humanity's place in the galaxy. He-Jin smiled as he watched the Earth ship's crew meet their alien counterparts. Soon, these meetings would be normal. The galaxy was learning that sometimes the hardest worlds produced the most surprising strengths. The Deathworlder's assignment had done more than defy alien intelligence. It had helped create a new understanding between all species, proving that every world, even the harshest ones, had something valuable to teach the galaxy.